Hello, beautiful souls. So I originally sat down here because I was going to read tomorrow's lesson, as we have a day filled of going to the fair. I'm going to a birthday for a meeting that I'm really looking forward to, and so I wasn't sure when I'd get it done. But then, as I sat here, I recognized it's a little bit more important for me to touch upon today's lesson, because today's lesson indeed is this day I choose to spend in perfect peace. And yet what's really funny is upon awakening this morning, I did my normal little yoga routine, and then I went to sit in stillness and accept today's idea and let it be my intent and foundation for the day. And yet as soon as I sat down, I hear the voice of my lovely husband call me, and then so proceeded to communicate with him. So I didn't get to sink into my meditation. And so I feel what happened with this is my day instead was handed to form, was handed to the ego. And it is still I've only been up for maybe like 2.5 hours, but these 2.5 hours I have not been in perfect peace. Instead, I have been taking things personally and getting irritated and agitated about everything that's being said between me and Tom and within my life in general. And so it's very interesting that today's lesson is stating for us that this day I choose to spend in perfect peace, and yet how at the same time, how our ego does not want us to experience this perfect peace at all, and will do anything and everything to distract us from the goal, to distract us from our intention. And so I think I mostly just wanted to bring this forward and talk this out for my own benefit, for my own healing, and then simultaneously extend it out there for those who may be experiencing similar things. Because even the first line of the lesson is saying, it does not seem to me that I can choose to have but peace today, and yet my God assures me that his Son is like himself. And what we are truly learning here is what God is, and what God is peace without opposite, and thus we must be the same. And yet while we are here trekking around in the dream world, we have this thought within our mind that we are this body, that we are separate, that we have the right to defend our thoughts. We have the right to defend our opinions and our beliefs. And in this state of mind, we truly are putting up defenses to what is not really there. We're not seeing things truly. And this is much like going back to the beginning lessons, where you're reminded, I'm upset because I'm seeing something that is not there. I'm upset because I'm seeing something that is not there. And I feel that is being brought right back around today when we have this goal of perfect peace. But then when these thoughts of upset arise, it's easy for ego to point at it and be like, look at how you are not a son of God. Look at how what God promises is not true. Look at how you are easily getting annoyed and agitated, and all the things that you must be guilty for. This is what ego wants to bring up in our mind and justify as being the truth about us, when really those are just, the beliefs and conditions that we have accepted from this world of time and space, but they're not our reality and eternity. And so when we have these opportunities to have this junk rise up, these upsets rise up, it literally is for us to look at it again. It is literally for us to be willing to be wrong about how we're currently seeing something, and be willing to ask for correction of these mere mistakes that have happened. And we're getting to see that any small little upset or any huge, massive anger burst is the same thing. It really is the same thing. For an illusion is an illusion, and the ego is the illusion. And so we are giving ourselves the opportunity to undo every little last bit of ego locking that it has on us. And my repetitive cycle seems to happen in correlation with my female cycle, so to speak. And it's kind of funny because just before I picked up this video is when I recognized that today's the day that it started. And I find that the week leading up to that moment when I get that female time of the month, is when my emotions start to go rocky, and they start to wave, and they start to shift, and I start to get a little bit more, take things personally, and I get a little bit more upset about particular things, and it's easy to just totally blame everybody else. You know, to blame whoever is in your life and get mad at them, and think that it's their fault and their error for how you're feeling. And then at the same time, it's easy for ego to say, oh, well, you're justified in how you're feeling because it is that time of the month. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. And so we are given the opportunity to discern between what is true and what is not true. And frankly, the truth never changes. And so if our moods are up and down, that has nothing to do with the truth. The moods are up and down based on the beliefs that we have in our mind about what we think we are. And so you know, my eyes caught down on the final line of the prayer for today. The peace you gave him still is in his mind, and it is there I choose to spend today. So even though on the superficial levels of mind, we have all the emotions, all the thoughts, all the projections, beyond all that is the peace. And we have to want that more than we want to justify how right we are in something. We need to want the peace more than we want to feel upset or paid attention to or right in feeling that, you know, in feeling whatever we think we're feeling. And so I don't want to be run on the clock of time, going on this monthly cycle as being you know, the time when the emotions and the thoughts in the head take over. I don't want that. I don't want that. And I don't want that for any of us. And it seems because I have been very, very vigilant for mind training and very sure of God's reality, and have had continual experiences of him being the only thing that is real and completely being love. I don't give much room or segue to the ego to harp on me. I don't give much segue to the ego to take me on these trips, because whatever it offers to me, I do not believe. And yet, for a week each month, it seems that the thoughts that he's offering me are all of a sudden real. They all of a sudden mean something, when the other 3 weeks they didn't, you know. And this is a cycle. It is a reoccurring thing. And so this is what I'm needing to look at. And I think within each and every one of us, we all have a cycle that we repeat. And we have to look at that cycle. And I might put this as the topic title, you know, to look at what cycle we're repeating and realize that we are the ones who can change it. So whether the repeating cycle is, you know, upset at our partner for always coming home late, whether the cycle be, you know, constantly feeling sad when someone, you know, calls us a name or doesn't pay attention to us, whether the cycle is being way too busy, you know, in our daily life, not having time to just be still for a moment and listen, you know, whether our cycle be, you know, just constantly looking at how much our body weighs and how our body feels, and anything like that. You know, our cycle can come out in a plethora of different ways and form, and I think it's up to each and every one of us to look at what our cycle is, that we may end that cycle today, and realize that we are the ones who is responsible for this cycle continuing and constantly repeating itself and constantly coming back to be experienced. And so we are the ones who can choose to stop that today. And so I suggest that each and every one of us say that today is the day that I am no longer following along with the cycle that I have laid before myself, but instead today is the day that I begin to experience the perfect peace of God. Today I desire the peace of God more than desiring to repeat my cycle of pain, of difficulty, of stress. I no longer want that anymore, and so I choose peace instead. We do have the power of choice, and today, brothers, we can choose once again. I may even suggest that as something y'all may want to read. Chapter 31, the last chapter of the text. Choose once again. It doesn't matter if you're on lesson 1 or you're on lesson 255, where we are today. That text will pertain to where we are, especially if you're watching this video and recognizing that within yourself you are trapped within a cycle of some kind, whether it be a habit or addiction or a ritual. Thoughts are addictions too, thoughts are rituals too, thoughts are cycles too. So let's be witness to whatever cycle we're being taken upon, that today we may choose to spend this day in perfect peace instead, and let where we once were in the cycle be transformed by the presence and the peace that we welcome in our minds and hearts today. And so I want to just kind of conclude with the final prayer of today's lesson to set us all on the right path. And so, my Father, would I pass this day to you? Your Son has not forgotten you. The peace you gave him still is in his mind, and it is there I choose to spend today. I love you all, beautiful souls. Enjoy ending your cycle today.